morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. My name is Boris. I am a member of this congregation and the worship team here at 1U. I'm also today's worship leader, and so I'm running it. Woo! Let's go. With me in today's service are our choir director, Aubrey, Connelly-Candelario. Yes, indeed. On drums, the one and only Jacob Hike. Yes, indeed. Board member, Sandy Pollock. And our chalice lighter today, under protest, is my youngest son, Anderson. Let's not forget our team of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure that we come together this morning. I want to thank them all. It is a team, and we appreciate you. Now, we greet you this morning, old friends and new, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here in this community. Your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. In sum, we welcome you. Now, there is much information about our congregation, particularly for those of you who are new here, and we've got it all on our website, orlandouu.org. You can also email us at info@orlandouu.org. Included in what we have for you are all our announcements, and today we have a number of special announcements. There's a lot happening in our congregation. So let me get to it. First up, guess what, friends? Our annual soapbox service is just a couple of weeks away on August 31st. So come one, come all, get on your soapbox and let us know what's on your mind. Is it immigrants? Trans rights? What are you thinking about wanting to ask about? Meeting this moment, the chicken or the egg? Come and be heard from the pulpit for 2 minutes. Soapbox time. 2 minutes. All right. Not only that, we have another annual tradition, and that's called the Question Box Worship Service. And this will be followed by following the soapbox service just a week later on September 7th. Be prepared to ask the hard questions about what we're doing as a faith community to meet the moment. Come be in conversation with Reverend Markley and others. These are 2 participatory worship services. We're excited. Speaking of participation in worship, here's another thing coming a week later. All right, on September 14th, we're going to have our 1U worship hive mind. Okay? It will be held on the day of our annual water communion. Right after service, we'll have a potluck, followed by a 90-minute session in which your ideas for worship, from hymns to reflections, will be gathered for the church year. This is your chance to participate in how worship works in this church. So we welcome you on that day. Speaking of things you can engage in, we have a new group. It's called Roots and Wings, and it's a twice-monthly gathering for making friends with death, beginning this Wednesday at 5 p.m. If you're interested in joining the conversation or have any questions, send a note to Melissa B. Hey, Melissa. rootsandwings@orlandouu.org. And if you were here for the service last week, you have a deep understanding of what Melissa and the rest of us are thinking about. We really want you to be a part of this. Today, children's choir practices begin. Children from 2nd through senior high who are interested in taking part should meet in the sanctuary from 12 to 12:30 and let your voice be heard. Parents, please pick up your children immediately following the practice. More information about children's choir can be found in this RE update. And hit it again, Jacob. I love it. The symbol for children's choir. All right. Finally, I invite Steve Hanna, who is the chair of our music committee and will be singing for us today, you'll see that in a few minutes, to the podium for a brief announcement. Steve.
Thank you, Neil. By now you've probably heard that season tickets are on sale for the 4th season of our concert series, the Milk District Salon. You can buy these season tickets online until the day of that first concert, which will be Saturday, September 6th. After the service today, and the next few Sundays, we'll have others handing these out, we'll have slips of paper with the link you can use to buy season tickets, or you can find it there on that slide with the QR code. Also on our church website under music, on the 1U Facebook, the 1U blog, and in a newsletter. Now, before I leave the pulpit, I'd like to make a personal request. If you can afford to buy a season ticket, please do so. When you buy a season ticket, you're not just supporting the concert series, you're also supporting 1U because the money we raise goes to our church. Not only that, you're supporting performers like Emma's Revolution, our first act, also the many local poets and musicians featured in our series, and you're supporting our volunteers, because if we sell enough season tickets, we don't have to freak out before every concert. Are we going to sell enough tickets to cover our costs? And you're supporting people who can't afford to buy tickets, because we welcome everybody at our concerts, regardless of their ability to pay. At 1U, we believe that universal love is the most powerful force in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. All other announcements are posted on slides before and after the service and can be found with links in the weekly update on our website. If you'd like to follow along with today's service, just use this QR code on the screen to view the order of service. Thanks again for being here in person and online today. Our opening words are on the screen behind me. Free will, though it makes evil possible, is also the only thing that makes possible any love or goodness or joy worth having. C.S. Lewis. A lot to think about there. And so now, let us begin our service with our chalice lighting. Our special chalice lighter today is my youngest, Anderson Boris. He is repping his Liverpool Mo Salah jersey because he loves him some Liverpool and some Mo Salah. They won this week already. He's an 8th grader at Cornerstone Charter Academy, and his favorite subjects are nothing and not much, depending on the day. All right, please now say these words for our chalice lighting. From Rena Kondo, we're going to do something a little different today, so read along with me. We light this chalice with hopes for a bright future. May our children, their children, all children, intermingle their laughter throughout the world. May they be as the rainbow color and hope for the coming dawn. Now, please rise in body or spirit and join me in the singing of our opening hymn, number 1028 in your hymnals, the Teal Hymnals, Fire of Commitment.
into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion need to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion beat to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our prophet's choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Wow, that was lovely. So, today we gather to explore. I will admit to you that I'm in an interesting place, and we're going to just dive into that. Now, I can't tell you all the reasons why, but I can say this much. I dropped my second child off at university yesterday. And it's killing me, people. It's both really exciting, kind of sad, kind of cool. I don't know, I'm a hot mess. So in that spirit, I call us to worship, okay? Let's take a moment to greet one another. Please connect with people around you. And then you switch it at the board. Now, I would like to call forward, come on, all the young and young at heart, because it's time for all ages. And we have something cool going on here. This book was written by Andy's art teacher from the Cornerstone Charter School, both 7th and now 8th grade, Mr. Huntley, yes? And he is one cool guy. So he wrote this and illustrated it, and I thought, well, let's bring it in and all share. The title of this book is called The Flummoxed Teacher. I know we have a number of teachers in our congregation. Raise your hand if you've been in the teaching profession. You see? Look at all those hands. Now raise your hand if you were ever flummoxed by the job. Even more hands go up, actually, right? The Flummoxed Teacher by Ken Huntley from Cornerstone Children. And you see, we got an autographed edition. I know. Okay, let's start. Mr. Flurry was getting ready for work, thinking his outfit would pass. Today he was going to start a new lesson with his art class. The media and materials were set, the best he could prepare. Mr. Flurry was confident he had everything square. And you guys see those pictures? And you can see them up there too. Yeah, on the screen too. Do you want to see them close to or just on the screen? Just on the screen. Thank you. Got that. The students entered. I'm flummoxed now. You feel me? The students entered, eager to learn. Little did Mr. Flurry know how easily the tables might turn. If all went according to plan, this lesson would last just 1 week. Mr. Flurry was ready, about to speak. But before the words could sputter out, a hand went up with a jerk. Before he could even be called, the student spouted, "How do giraffes work?" What? Mr. Flurry was taken aback. He considered the question. "I'm not sure what you mean or how it relates to this session." Facing him now, a flood of hands. From question to question, countless demands. There stood Mr. Flurry, now almost fully overwhelmed. Gone was the sense of control in the classroom he once helmed. Clearly, they were running the show. Before he could muster a response, another hand went up. "So, did you, know Van Gogh?" "Stop!" he exclaimed. "Please, enough!" he let out in a defeated huff. The bell rang before he could regain his composure. The students rushed out before anyone could get any closure. With the classroom empty, Mr. Flurry was in disbelief. He was crushed, flabbergasted, completely flummoxed. You see Mr. Flurry there? You guys see him? Yeah. He's kind of sad, I think. Exactly, the children had 1,000 questions, and he had a whole thing prepared, but they just wanted to ask questions. You do that to your mom? Yeah. Let us all give a shout out to your mom, because, yeah. While he stood, he tried to remember what mattered most: curiosity. He decided then to tackle each inquiry with ferocity. He started his research going from book to book. He was committed to this no matter how much coffee it took.
How much coffee?
Coffee! So much coffee. Before he knew it, his board was full of facts and figures connecting questions and answers to dates and pictures. The next morning, the students entered without a peep. But Mr. Flurry was excited, even though he was lacking sleep. The students sat and waited. Mr. Flurry was ready and heavily caffeinated. He bounced from point to picture, covering each topic with even mixture. The students watched wide-eyed, seeing this all unfold, engaged and amused at all they were told. Yes, Miss Gloria.
How much coffee did he drink?
You know, it's a very fine question. The book does not specify how much coffee he drank. But I see many different cups on his table, so I'm going to say 5 cups. Thank you for your question. Maybe 50, between 5 and 50. Maybe 100? Do you think 100?
No, I thought 100.
You thought 100? I don't think 100 is probably a good idea. I don't know that much. Okay. There he stood, out of breath from the most intense of lessons. Then he asked, "So, any questions?" A hand went up, addressing the text. Mr. Fleury was left, profoundly perplexed. He thought and thought, wishing he knew. "That's a great question. How about I find out and get back to you?" The bell rang out and the students left, forgetting the prior day's blunder. Instead, today, they left excited and full of wonder. As the classroom emptied, Mr. Fleury was content. "Wait, what's this hair he found? This random stray? Could the last few days have started to turn him gray?" The end. So thanks to Ken Huntley, terrific art teacher, right, Andy? Top shelf, and we appreciate local books. And now, we get to sing you guys out to your activities today. So, will the adults make our beautiful arch, and we'll sing This Little Light of Mine together as the kids head out.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning. We got shenanigans. I like it. Good morning. I'm Sandy Pollock, President of the Board of Trustees. Good morning. We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values that sustains the life and ministries of our church community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it's a privilege to be able to do so. And let's be thankful for our needs, for they allow us to practice receiving. Today's full collection will go to the ministries of this congregation, and our Share the Plate recipient for the months of July and August is Planned Parenthood. If you give to our partner directly, please let the church administrator know. The offering will now be collected. Note that you can also give online.
I have climbed highest mountains, I have run through the fields only to be with you, only to be with you. I have run, I have crawled, I have scaled city walls, these city walls, only to be with you. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Yeah, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. have kissed honey lips, felt the healing fingertips. It burned like fire, this burning desire. I have spoke with the tongue of angels. I have held the hand of the devil. It was warm in the night. I was cold as a stone, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Yeah, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I believe in the kingdom come. All the colors will bleed into one, bleed into one. But yes, I'm still running. You broke the bonds and you loosed the chains. Carry the cross of my shame, of my shame. I believe it, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Yeah, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Thank you. Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
Thank you, Sandy. And thank you, Steve and Aubrey. Yeah. Yeah. That was terrific. This is the time we set aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow that you need witnessed or help with, or have a joy that you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read each Sunday morning during worship. You can send an email to joysandsorrows@orlandouu.org during the week. If you're attending in person, you can also just fill out one of our cards at the registration table, hand it to an usher before the start of service. After the meditation, we're going to call you forward for our candle lighting ritual in just a few moments. So bring your joys and sorrows as we come together. Come as you are. Your whole self, remember, is welcome here in this sacred space that together we create. The first message this morning is a lovely one. It's from Boris Connelly-Candelario. To my fathers, I had such a wonderful time seeing you. I love you both so much. I'll be back. I worked on that part. My family is celebrating joy. I'm not yet saying, whether Cooper getting to freshman year at University of Florida is a joy. But his sister tomorrow turns 20. So we're going joy with that one. Happy birthday, Jackie, Anderson's oldest sib. Whew, 20 years old. The flowers this morning are also celebrating a birthday. They were brought to us by Kathy Schmitz in honor of Charlie Behrens' 70th birthday. Charlie! And so, guess what we have for you in Gore Hall after the service to celebrate Charlie's 70th? Cake table for delicious vegan treats from Valhalla Bakery. Woo! Vegan treats for all. I love it. And now, next up is a note from Jenny Weatherford. Very happy birthday to Elizabeth Edsel, celebrating today. I'm so grateful for your life and for your precious friendship. I love it. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Now, we have a birthday of another kind. And this is very, very special. So I would like to call together Demetrius and his family. Come forward, the Balliettes. Come forward, come forward. Tomorrow is the official day that Demetrius' adoption is recognized. Congratulations to the family. Demetrius wants to light a candle, and guess what? We're going to do it in just a minute. All right. Isn't that special? Golly. I asked them, by the way, how, are we doing this mellow quiet? And they're like, no, we're coming up. Love it. Okay. From the larger community, we hold our communities and our country with care, and the world with our compassion, by acting for justice in all of the small and large ways that will move the arc of the universe toward justice. And please let us remember that the arc is long. And for all the joys and sorrows of this community shared today, and for those held close to our hearts, let's pray. Let's celebrate and send each other healing energy. And in fact, I do have a prayer for us this morning. It's from the Ojibwe community, Art Solomon, an Ojibwe elder. Grandfather, look at our brokenness. We know that in all creation, only the human family has strayed from the sacred way. We know that we are the ones who are divided, and we are the ones who must come back together to walk in the sacred way. Grandfather, Sacred One, teach us love, compassion, and honor, that we may heal the earth and heal each other. You're invited now to come forward and light a candle of remembrance, loving kindness, and hope. We will light the first candle for those watching online, and the last one will be lit for all of the joys and sorrows held silently in this space. So please use the middle aisles and come forward for our candle lighting.
Breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
I'm coming forward, people.
Come closer, Eel.
Further? How's that? We're good. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning, as it always is. I get a chance to do this a couple times a year, and it is a joy to think about spirituality that connects us all. In some senses, since I've been doing reflections for a number of years in UU churches, I almost have a series going. It's a little strange to think of it that way, but I call it my Finding Faith series. And today, I titled my reflections, Grabbing to Hold and Letting Go. The image here has two sides to it, as you can see. The first is about children and childhood, a theme we've talked a little bit about already. Ever since I was a kid, I was fascinated by faith, the idea of it, what it was made of, and how I might connect to it in one way or another. But I was raised in a family that was not church-going. So all of my reflections on this were kind of on my own. And I've talked a bit about that in other previous sermons, not today. What I've said, though, is that the search for faith, for me, is somewhat mystical. It's about tapping into something larger than us. Anybody else, by show of hands, have a similar life pursuit in any way? Yeah, a bunch of you. Yeah. Welcome to the club. We are, though, as you use, a non-creedal religion. And so, we don't subscribe to a particular set of shared beliefs or use a text of one kind or another to organize our faith. So we don't have a defined God, a text to follow. Instead, and I like this image, it's kind of like we gather the elements of our faith, the stones, and arrange them ourselves to make meaning. Create the word. And I think that's a fascinating process, at least it is for me. In a sense, we write our own faith, and to do so, we have to find those stones and arrange them. The idea that faith is all around us, but that it's our responsibility to construct it, I find it both freeing and challenging. Can I get an amen from anyone on that? Amen. I love words, especially the ones that seem to convey meaning in how they sound. This word, swirl, is a nice example. And when I started thinking about these reflections for today, this word popped into my head because I got to tell you something. These days, my head is swirling. Swirling. Can any of you relate to that? I guess so. Let's do some audience participation. What current issues, shout them out, are making your head swirl? Okay. So our political climate, yes? What? Racism. How we treat one another. What else you got? Immigration. Another question of how we treat one another. The environment, climate change, how we treat our Earth, AI, our future wrapped up in something that is unknown and unknowable, but also in or not in our control. It's arguable, right, if this epoch, at this time in which we live, brings any more uncertainty than other epochs in human history. But it sure feels like it to me. How about you? Like Mr. Huntley, I'm a bit flummoxed, people. Another good word. And so, when we're asked to have faith, you hear this expression a lot, right? It's a tall order sometimes. In other words, for me, what makes this time fraught is a sense of losing faith, even as I continue my lifelong search to find it. Does that make sense? Faith in democracy, faith in capitalism, faith in our species, faith that man will survive man, or that man will survive AI. Now, I have to admit that I have a lot of privilege in facing the uncertainty. I have clothes on my back, I have food in my fridge, and so on. And yet, my personal uncertainty index feels like it's hit its apex. It's at the top. And I feel like this person, looking out into a future that is really hard to see. Now, we should all experience such an apex in our lifetime. But I've come to feel that the uncertainty that seems woven into our existence is in some senses shaking my faith. And that sense of uncertainty is what this picture is meant to depict. Now, again, I have much to be thankful for. This is from vacation last week up in New Hampshire. Here's the fan. And to be honest with you, it's not my future I'm worried about. It's my kids. That's where it gets me. Okay? That's what leaves me shaken. Because I know I can't protect my kids from the existential threats we face. And in fact, these threats may well accelerate in their lifetimes. They probably will. As I said, I moved my middle kid into his college dorm yesterday, the one standing, and he joins his sister there at University of Florida. And next month, this one here becomes a teenager. Woo! So while I'm trying to lean into celebrating these milestones, and I am, that uncertainty has me a little rocked. In particular, this sense of how do I advise them as they go forward into the uncertainty that I may not have many years left to go forward into. How do I advise them? How do I hold them through this? What do I say to support them in their own journey? So, this is what I studied up on for today. Sound like a good plan to study up? What the heck? So I went looking around for resources to help with the idea of uncertainty, to understand how do we deal with it. I came across this quote, and I'm going to read it to you. Don't get ahead of me, okay? All right? Because it's a long one. And it's from this thing called the American Scholar, And it's written by, believe it or not, two mathematicians. I am not a math guy. But I think it's helpful. Here it is. Uncertainty can be a source of terror and anguish. It keeps us up at night. But it is also a generative force and an invitation for deeper exploration. It forces us to earn our certainties rather than buying them cheaply and wholesale. Indeed, a dynamic, honest search for truth requires us to regard uncertainty as an enduring companion rather than an enemy to be fled or vanquished. To wrestle with it, we must embrace it. Now, I read that about 4 times over, and I was like, I don't know if I'm in an embracing mood. You feel me? But I really thought about it, and I thought it was helpful. Now, again, I won't lead you through the whole article. There's a reference here, and you can email me if you want to read it. Again, it's about math. And what these folks argue is we think math is completely logical and has a set of knowns with it. And the more we understand math and theorems, the more we understand they aren't set. I used to say that. And I thought, wow, I never understood math, and now I do. So we head toward the terror and anguish, and we embrace it. And in some senses, Melissa and Kathy last week had a lot to say about this in their service, which I really appreciate. But it still begs the question, how do we embrace uncertainty? And I'm back to swirling on that. What does it mean to earn our certainties? Another line from that remarkable paper. As my kids head out one by one into a life filled with uncertainty, can I pass along some dad certainties to go with my dad jokes? Seemed like a set of questions I was not sure I could figure out, and it reminded me of my search for faith. After all, isn't faith ultimately a search for certainty, that bedrock sense of what is both true and seemingly unknowable? I decided to look for some primary sources on life's certainties. And I turned first to an interesting one, a book I hadn't read, but one that had been in my mental reading list for a while. Of course, in true form, I downloaded it on Audible and listened to it. Okay? It's this book, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, written in 1946. And I'm sure many of you know the story of Viktor Frankl. What a remarkable human being. Frankl argued that the search for meaning is the primary motivational force in man. And he, of course, really came to this by living through Auschwitz, concentration camp, where he survived. And listening to this book, which is a deeply haunting memoir of that time, and also, weirdly, in the second half, an approach to psychotherapy written by a psychiatrist. He was a psychiatrist. I am one too. And it was pretty interesting to listen to both pieces of this. So it's deeply personal and universal at the same time. And he argued that key sources for finding meaning in life, his certainties, what he leaned on in a time of deepest uncertainty. Would he even survive? Would he even survive? Were as follows. He said, purposeful work or creativity, love, and finding courage in the face of adversity. Those are the 3 searches for meaning. That's where you're going to. It's really remarkable. So I kind of got into this. I was like, okay, let's think about meaning. Let's think about life's purpose. Because if I'm a dad, I want to help my kids think about, who are you in the world? What is your purpose? That I can lean into. And so I went further, and I listened to the NPR show, The Hidden Brain, which brought forward this University of Michigan professor named Vic Strecker, who's a public health researcher and really interesting human being. And he has studied purpose in life, finding purpose. Essentially, he followed up Frankl's work with his own. And it's very academic, but it's also, particularly when you listen to his story of his life, very personal. A few things I learned. I'm a psychology nut, right? This is what I do for a living. If you take a backpack with 25 pounds of weight in it, and you give it to a person, and you say to them, here's a backpack, now I'm going to put you on a slope, and I want you to estimate what is the angle of the slope. How steep is this? If you just tell them, this is a backpack, how steep is the slope? Versus if you tell them, this is a backpack, but it has some really important scientific equipment in it that you'll be carrying. The estimations of the slope are radically different. If we think we're carrying something really important, we're like, oh, this ain't a climb at all. I got this. It's fascinating. And in fact, the study of how people organize themselves around purpose is not just one study, it's many studies. Now, I am not going to force you to read this whole thing. You can't, okay? But this is the kind of stuff that gets me excited. All right? Purpose in life and its relationship to all-cause mortality and cardiovascular events, a meta-analysis. Again, I'm the only one geeking out about this stuff. But I will tell you that it is quite clear when we study humans that those who feel purpose in living die less. Just saying. It's kind of interesting. And this is done prospectively, by the way. You ask them about purpose, and then you follow them over time. It's pretty fascinating stuff. So I thought, okay, we're on to something. Now, there's a major caveat, and I was reminded of this caveat just a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to do a pop quiz for you guys. All right, you ready? First of all, the quiz doesn't have to do with these words. But Vic Strecker says, it depends. Purpose is not universally able to help you in life because there are different kinds of purpose. There's what we call hedonic, pleasure-seeking purpose, which is all good, but doesn't save your life. And then there's something called eudaimonic purpose, otherwise known as self-actualizing purpose, and that's a fish of a different breed. That's the purpose that is most important. And I learned my lesson about this from this guy in the last couple of weeks. Anybody know who this guy is? I love it. This is sports fandom pop quiz. Anybody in the UU church know who this guy is? Anybody? Golf. Michael, thank you. Yes, a golfster. Very good. Do you? That's all you got. All right. Anybody know this gentleman's name? Scotty. Yes, correct. Scotty Scheffler. I'm very proud of you guys. Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler is the #1 golfer in the world right now. And it's not even close. Correct. Correct. Well put. Well put. Thank you, Reverend Kirsten, putting me in my place. I love you. He is a remarkable athlete, this gentleman. And yet, in the last month, he gave a press conference that was labeled astonishing. And when you listen to it, and I did, because I'm kind of a sports guy, here's one of the things he said. He had just won a major tournament, and he's won 3 this year, and a bunch of minor ones too. Whatever that means, the guy has won a lot of golf tournaments. Here's the quote. "This is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from the deepest places of your heart." Professor Strecker has laid this out. We can be driven to accomplish things for ourselves that bring us money, bring us fame, bring us all kinds of things that we think will be fulfilling. And as Scotty Scheffler says, it's like 2 minutes of joy, and then where are we going to dinner? That's what he said after the last major tournament he won. He said, don't get me wrong, I love to grind. I'm so proud of what I've accomplished. I've worked all my life for this. But let me tell you, anything happens to my family, I'm quitting tomorrow. It doesn't mean that much. So hedonic purpose versus eudaimonic purpose, that's the other fancy Greek word, that's a big difference. Self-transcending purpose is what matters. That's the certainty we can live with. So, there I am looking for my certainties, looking for the things that I can hold on to that make sense and that are important. Any of you Monty Python fans? Yeah, me too. So now I need to switch and say, and now for something completely different. Because finding our purpose is grabbing a hold of something. And as many faith traditions would remind us, letting go is pretty darn important too. So this Banksy piece of art, I love this art, reminds us, along with the Zen proverb, that it's also important to let go. Also important to let go. Living with purpose is one kind of antidote to managing uncertainty. But I think as well, another building block of our need in finding faith is letting go. Now, once again, when you get into the psychology of this, it gets fascinating. So I'm going to say another couple of geeky things, and then I'm going to wrap it up. That's the cheer for me wrapping it up? Oh, the geeky things. Okay, good, because I was confused there, but I got geeky things. Bring on the nerdy. Bring on the psychology. The other thing that's interesting about human psychology has to do with our sense of control. Part of what living with uncertainty is a direct threat to our sense of control. Does that make sense? And that's really, when you think about it, what makes it hard. How many of you feel like today's uncertainty is testing your sense of being in control? The majority of you. And interestingly, humans are diverse. Some of you did not raise your hands. And one of the traits that varies across our species is what's called sense of control. okay? And this interrelationship between uncertainty and sense of control is really interesting, but might not be exactly what you think. So let me say a word or two about that. For example, here's a psychological experiment that's been done. If I divided this room in half and gave each of you $1, I'm not going to, I don't have dollars, okay? But let's say I did, okay? And I told this half of the room, well, when you receive the $1, after getting it, I'm going to give you the reason for why I gave you the $1. And the other half of the room, I just give you the buck and that's it, it's done. But before I give you the $1, I ask you to rate how happy you'll be to receive the $1. And interesting, the people who are going to be told why they're getting the $1, before they get the $1, will rate themselves as going to be more happy to get it, because you're going to tell me why. And those of you who get the buck for free, no comment, no nothing, you're going to rate yourself as less likely to be pleased. And then when I give you the $1, guess who's more pleased? You guys. You will rate yourself as more pleased just getting the $1, but not knowing why. Some of the things about humans that are fascinating is that we tend to think that certainty and control will bring us pleasure, but it doesn't really. It doesn't really. And that's fascinating. Now, I wish I had more time to go into all of this, but I will say this, that one way to embrace uncertainty is to let go of control. Now, I know Tommy's here, Bob's here, some of the people who practice mindfulness among us, as you use, are in the audience, and they're experts at letting go. And so one thing that I will say is that letting go is as important as grabbing hold, getting that purpose. True, but it's weird in a way, right? Because one is about grabbing control, and one is about letting go of it and being free of it. So, working on reflections like this is a joy for me. I wish I could bring you a coherent single message, but that's all I've got for today. I appreciate you going on this thought journey with me, and I appreciate this community for allowing us all to find our faith in however we may do it. Cheers. Our closing hymn today is number 1003, also in your teal hymn news. Where do we come from? Off we go.
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. 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 Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where do we come from?
I'm really pleased to invite our artist in residence, Lisa Marie, to come up and share a poem for our closing words.
Thank you for having me. The title of my poem is Being. Spirit, I pray for freeing. On sleepless nights, when I'm haunted by uncertainty, when my doubts are the only ones next to me, biting my bones with their acidic chemistry, let every move they make be pure alchemy. Every shadow, every pain, every regret and forgotten name be your invitation to transformation, to letting go, feeling free, feeling flow. Spirit, how I wish to wear, not shift and sieve my darker melodies, for they too hold my humanity. Break me open enough to see the world through your eyes and dignity. Let every part of me, my laughter, rage, and grief, my stagnant tiredness and vivid sexuality, my reckless youth and aging wisdom wavering underneath, may they all be chosen, may they all be woven to make me whole again. Spirit, I pray for freeing. When I ask who I am to that slice of horizon which seems to know my name, where the sun threads the sky again and again, may I pray for freeing. May I no longer be keeping all my roles and realities wrapped up in other people's opinions of me. May I not touch, may I not want to create my own meaning, for this is the fruit of the gods. Let meaning burn through us exactly as we are, when we're open and surrendered to your lungs full of stars. Spirit, I pray for just being, breathing deeply, receiving all that I am. May I hear that ancient song for the first time, again and again.
And so, our call to action is to keep searching for purpose, grabbing a hold, and remembering also to let go. And now, we get to extinguish our chalice. Andy, come on up. Please say these words with me as we extinguish this flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.